Section 1.3 is titled Subtracting Integers. Again, please make sure that you're titling each day's lesson and also continuing to fill out your table of contents. The first slide, remember, will be a standard or an I can statement. Remember, you do not need to write these down. These are also on the Unit 1 standard paper that we passed out and taped into our notebooks at the beginning of Unit 1. So today we'll be covering 7.c.2, which means to understand the subtraction of rational numbers as adding the additive inverse. So today you'll be able to subtract rational numbers by adding the additive inverses. You'll also be able to use a number line to explain the distance between two rational numbers to be the absolute value of their difference, and apply this concept to real-world contexts. So again, subtracting rational numbers. So subtracting integers. When you subtract integers, you will add the additive inverse. And some of you have heard the term adding the opposite or same change change. I typically will say add the opposite. So here you can see that if you have an integer a and you subtract integer b, it's the same as adding a plus negative b. In the example, we have 2 minus 7, so you can see that the subtraction sign has become addition, and the 7 has then become negative. So when we subtract integers, we add the opposite. You can see that we're adding, and then the opposite of the original positive 7 is now a negative 7. Please make sure that you have everything on this slide written down. So some examples. You can write down the 3 examples. You can pause the video and try to work them out on your own and then check, or you can just work through them as I do. So first, on a subtraction problem with integers, I'm typically going to go through and add the opposite. So notice I'm changing the subtraction to addition, and then the 15 was positive and now I'm making it negative. I'm going to do the same thing on number 2, add and make the 8 negative. And on number 3 I'll be adding and making the 15 negative. And now we think about our rules from the previous lesson when we added integers, because now these are all addition problems. So on number 1 we're adding two integers who have opposite signs. So in your head you're doing a subtraction problem. 15 minus 6 is 9. And our answer takes the sign of the bigger number. 15 is bigger, 15 was negative, so we have a negative 9. On number 2, we have negative 7 now plus negative 8. So we have two signs that are the same. They're both negative numbers. So we're going to add those two numbers in our head. 7 plus 8 is 15. And when the signs are the same, your answer should have the same sign. Finally, on number 3, we again have opposite signs, positive 4 and negative 15. So you're subtracting the two numbers in your head. 15 minus 4 is 11. And again, the 15 is larger, the 15 is negative, so our answer should be negative. If you work these out on your own and you didn't get them correct, listen for the explanation and see if that makes more sense. Going on, 3 more examples. Again, the example needs to be written into your notes as well as any work that I do or the answers that I write. So we have negative 3 minus 12, so we're going to add the opposite. We're adding a negative 12. Now the 3 and the 12 have the same sign, they're both negative, so I'm going to add the two numbers in my head. 3 plus 12 is 15, and my answer will take the same sign, so negative 15. Number 5, we have 9 minus 14, so I'm going to change it to adding the opposite, so I'm changing the positive 14 to a negative. Notice the number out in front does not change. The negative 3 stays the same, the 9 stays the same, the negative 10 will stay the same. And we have opposite signs, so we're going to subtract the numbers in our head. 14 minus 9 is 5, and the 14 is larger, the 14 is negative, so our answer should be negative. On number 6, we're going to add a negative 8. So now we have signs that are the same. We add the two numbers in our head. 10 plus 8 is 18, and our answer takes the same sign. Now we're going to look at some examples where the original problem is subtracting a negative. So we're still adding the opposite. So we're going to change it to addition, but now the opposite of a negative is a positive. So now we're going to change the sign of that back number. And now the problem essentially has become 9 plus 2. 9 plus 2 is 11. On number 3, we have 3 minus negative 5, so we're going to add the opposite. The problem has now become 3 plus 5, and that's 8. On number 9, we have 18 minus a negative 2, so adding the opposite becomes 18 plus 2, which is 20. And really the same rules about the signs have applied here. On all three of these examples, we were adding two positive numbers, so our answers should all be positive. In class, you will work on worksheet 1-3.